Finally, we have arrived at the lesson on project schedule. What we see in this lesson is the culmination of 4 previous processes, lots and lots of effort, dozens of tools and techniques. The project schedule will set a pulse to the whole project all the way to execution. This view that you see on the screen is called as a Gantt chart, invented by Henry Gantt and made popular during the World War I more than a century back. I will assume you are already familiar with it. The Gantt chart shows what needs to be done, how long it will take, who has to do the work, and when is the work to be done. Correspondingly, on this side of the screen, you can see the same information visually graphed against the dateline. Earlier Gantt charts were drawn on paper and they had to be manually recalculated and redrawn every time there was a change in the schedule. And we very well know how many changes will come in during execution. Scheduling tools will automate all this work for you. Let me show a very quick example of this. Observe this activity on line number 8, perform stakeholder analysis. It is currently estimated for 5 days of work. The total project duration you can see in this cell is 119 days. I will now increase the duration of this activity by 1 day. Watch very carefully what happens both on this side of the screen and in the Gantt. You can see that the whole schedule automatically recalculated and redrew itself. The total duration now is, as you can expect, 120 days. And you can see by the light blue color in these cells that a whole lot of activities were affected by the small date change. I will now just revert the change with a Ctrl Z and we are back to square one. Now, let's do one more experiment. Here on line number 23 is an activity called Perform Quantitative Risk Analysis. And it is currently 3 days in duration. I will increase the duration of this activity by 2 days. What do you think this change will do to the total duration of the project? You can see that it is 119 days. Think of an answer before you proceed. Okay, now I will make the change 3 days to 5 and there. You can see that the change did not make any major impact on the schedule. In fact, the total duration of the project did not change at all. It is still 119 days. Can you guess the reason why this did not change in the second experiment? If the words critical path came to your mind, then you are absolutely on the right track. And if it did not, I urge you to see the previous lessons. I will now turn on the critical path. On the Gantt chart, observe the change. I have now highlighted the critical tasks. All the tasks on the critical path are now in pink color. You can see it going all the way down till end. You can see that the task that I modified was not on the critical path. It had some total slack. When we increased the duration, some of the slack got eaten and it did not impact the whole schedule. That is the reason it did not change. I will now just revert the change and go back to square one. Okay. Now I will change to a different view which gives you the critical path information. Wonderful. This fantastic view shows you all the information we calculated in the previous lessons manually. You can see the late start, late finish, free slack and total slack. Microsoft Project gives you literally hundreds of different views like this to analyze your schedule. For our task on line number 23, you can see that there was a total slack of 5 days available, which is why it did not impact the total project duration. If all this is not making sense to you, you should please watch the earlier lessons. Once the project starts execution, You can then track the project inside the same file. I will now show a project schedule that is being tracked. Here on the screen is a different schedule that is in progress and being tracked. The percentage complete for every activity that you see here can be tracked with a great deal of flexibility. When tracking the progress of a schedule, we will always need a starting point to compare against. Without something to compare against, you cannot track performance deviations. And Microsoft Project allows you to create different snapshots of the schedule to compare progress against. And these snapshots of the schedule are called as baselines. In this lesson, I have given you a very high-level functional view of a realistic and modern project schedule created within a scheduling software tool. If you are interested in learning Microsoft Project, please join my course, which has been a bestseller for 8th year consecutive. In the very next lesson, we will cover the last topic related to schedule planning called as baselines. It is a very important lesson, so I will see you there.